Okay. Hey folks, what's up? It's Jordy. I'm the music director here at Spinnaker Radio, and today I'm here with Conduit. Hey Conduit. Hey Bailey. How are you?
Good.
So,
I'm good.
so first, I guess I want to ask you about your music, obviously, and I want you to kind of describe how you would describe its sound, like where it comes from, all that good jazz. If you want to start with that.
My music genre, I would say it changes a lot, but it's really like indie pop and R&B inspired for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, and I compose everything, I produce everything through Ableton, so everything's self-produced. I've been writing music since I was 5. It was really just like poetry and lyricism at first, so that's kind of like where my music has started. Even though I play a lot of, I'm playing all the instruments. Lyricism is also a big part of my music, and most of my music is either like queer in tone or spiritual in tone. So a lot of spiritual gay vibes happening in the music.
We love that. We absolutely love that. And also, hold up. So you're producing your music completely by yourself. So as far as like your music composition and how you actually produce it, that your team is like it's just you. How is that process like? Talk about that. Like the time that it takes to like make music and like how is that?
So I would say that I started off being kind of like a singer-songwriter. So you're writing to an instrument, right? Then it's like you produce, so you're producing things that you maybe wouldn't necessarily play instrumentally. So it's also such a big element to the overall in song. Sometimes I start a song songwriting, and then by the time I produce it, it's another song. Takes a lot of time, but I feel like I really enjoy song structure. And I like it takes a lot of time, but I just really enjoy doing it, honestly.
It seems like you're just like overall enjoying like the technical aspect of it too, like the whole spectrum of making the music. You just love being like very hands on with it. It seems.
Very much,
That's
very much
awesome.
so.
And then also, going back to the other part of your original answer, queer gay vibes. We like, which is awesome. So I'm guessing like, so I want to know like, what are your sort of inspirations behind that as well, like to make music with that sort of theme and tone. Obviously, it must be a part of your life in some way, but if you could speak to like the broader sort of inspirations you have.
I feel like a lot of artists of any medium will say that they make it for themselves, but they're also making it for other people. So there's this aspect of maybe me talking about higher meaning things and spiritual things that are just like overarching. It's not really as much about myself as it is a metaphor for human existence. And then when Bailey is inserted in there, maybe she's literally talking about a queer relationship. So when I allow myself to insert, just me in there, like if I'm talking about relationships in any shape or form, it just is going to come up as queer. So it's like, it's not all of my music, but it's like, how do you separate yourself from, there really is no separation. But it's an interesting way to go back and forth between the queer narrative and then like, all artists talk, like I said, about broader perspective, but they're inserted in there in some way.
Yeah, that's a super awesome way of explaining that. I've never heard of that, like, kind of being explained that way before. And also, like, if you want to kind of also, along with that, talk about any aspects of life where, like, people are other music or anything that is directly kind of influencing your translation of those themes into music, right? So how you connect with queerness and, you know, spirituality, and then translating that into the sound that you have.
I would say, like, popular queer artists. I know King Princess is super popular, but more than King Princess, Shara. I don't know if you like that is.
Amazing.
I also want to say that, like, just talking about sexuality as a woman in general, whether it's queer or not, is a important part of me inserting myself into music. Not even as a queer person, but just as a woman talking about sometimes sexuality and stuff like that. Obviously, Megan Thee Stallion is like so brave and courageous, and like how she's willing to insert herself into her music. So I feel like those are two women who, like, you know, really put themselves in their music, and they also, I feel like, in a lot of ways transcend dialogues that we're all having, like, in that they're putting music out there for everyone too. They hit both of those notes.
Definitely, like, that makes perfect sense, especially with Meg, because like everybody loves Meg, you know, like, and it's like it doesn't matter what kind of like music you're into, that she's like kind of transcending those worlds, but she's also being like completely herself doing it, which is awesome. So I can.
It's inspirational for her.
Yeah, definitely. I love that for you too. So, so also talking about, you just released Gemini Rising. So how was that? How was the release of that? How was Gemini Rising, and how do you connect to the song and everything?
I would say Gemini Rising is like a very good song that's like equal parts me talking about a queer long distance relationship and me talking about like astrology. And sometimes grief, you know, grief comes up a lot. Grief can come up as a human instance, but it can also come up a lot in the queer community too, like talking about grief. So Gemini Rising is a part of an upcoming EP I have coming out in January called Only Human. The whole EP is on SoundCloud already, but like releasing it to other streaming platforms. So Gemini Rising is a part of that, and you know, it's like a lo-fi indie soul bop kind of is how I would describe it. It's a fun song. It's a little twangy too.
Yeah, because like I was like, when I was listening to it, like it's like the lyrics for me that like are like offset from like, you know, the kind of swoony, dreamy indie beat. You know what I'm talking about? Because like the way you sing the lyrics, I'm like, is it like Stevie? Is it like, you know? It's kind of like twangy like that. So it's really cool. I dig that a lot. And I was gonna ask you about like Only Human, because I know it's coming up in January, or it's like being released. And I was gonna ask you, is like that a common theme? Like, you know, the aspects of Gemini Rising, will they be coming up a lot throughout Only Human?
So yeah, Only Human is going to be genre-wise, it's going to be more of a focus in indie soul, I would say. So like some artists that have like super inspired that, you know, Khruangbin. Okay, right. Wow. We love Khruangbin. Wow. I don't know if you know like Tops.
Wow. I've heard, but I haven't.
Faye Webster, little Faye Webster in there.
I'll get on those.
Twangy, little indie soul. I like dreamy still. Definitely. All the drums in Gemini Rising and the Only Human EP, like, you know, all the drums I do when I produce are electronic. But when I produce an indie soul sound, it's designed to sound like a live band, kind of. Even though it's like bedroom pop is what it is, right?
Dude, that's awesome. So that's great. So do you have any like upcoming things, like are you working on, aside from like the release of, you know, Only Human, are you working on any types of other music, any other programs? Are you working with any other people?
I am such a Virgo. I have so many things going at once always. What's your sign, by the way?
I'm a Gemini sun.
Love
Taurus rising, Taurus moon.
Gemini Taurus energy.
Yes,
Love that.
thank you. I love it. I love Virgos. Oh my gosh.
That Mercury, that's what it is.
It truly.
I have a whole queer pop EP coming out too in June, and I've just been like releasing music and trying to like organize my music into playlists as like, you know, how do I create collections out of this? And then I have like another release. It's called I Still Like You. I haven't really fit it into any of those projects, but it's one that people have requested me to release. So I have a lot of releases coming to major streaming platforms this year. I've been collaborating with some artists like Henry, Gucci Fantastic, Chi from Our Love Culture. I played guitar for an unplugged album for Chi, so that's like up on Spotify. People can listen to that. Yeah, just, you know, I love jamming with artists, and collaborations happen along the way. Who knows, aside from what would end up releasing with other artists, but those are like the main things. Just a lot of streaming, new streaming releases.
All right. Thanks so much, dude. That was awesome. Thanks so much. Check out Conduit. What's your @ on Instagram? Any Spotify links? Anything like that you want to get out?
My @ on Instagram is Conduit. That's CONDUIT .official, and you can check out my website. All my links are on my website. It's conduit official.com. Great meeting you, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stop this.